Omega. Omega.
Hello and welcome to Radio Mega. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking to Sam, a young upcoming artist, about how social media benefits him as a musician.
We'll be looking into body confidence and if social media has an effect on people's self-esteem. You'll be hearing Noah, a counsellor who helps students with these problems.
But how much time do we spend on our phones? There'll be much more to discuss later on in the show. We have an interview with journalist student Eleni Evangelinos discussing how we can get news on social media.
And there's a little mix-up with Piers Morgan. Lucy will be updating you with the latest news.
We take a look at some top quality news content from Donald Trump in Trump's Tweet of the Week.
And lastly, we'll be playing a fun game of Who's Baby Dis with a special guest in the studio.
This is Utter Radio.
Social media is revolutionising the music industry. Instagram is now a marketing platform for promoting your music to your followers and the public too.
So Tom, our producer, has interviewed Sam, also known as Eclipse, who's a young upcoming artist, about how social media affects his work.
My brain won't be quiet.
I'm joined today by Sam. Recently he's been creating his own music and releasing it online.
I'm feeling kind of blue.
Has music always been a passion for you?
100%. It's always been a part of who I am, really. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been into the likes of Stevie Wonder, and I just put on albums like Songs in the Key of Life and listen to that on repeat all day.
What made you decide to release your own music then?
It was really just because my brother he started making music. He's always had a massive impact on me musically. I just repeated what he was doing, really, and I caught the bug. People were connecting with it.
And do you think it'd be a career path that you want to go down in the end?
It's a tough one, really. The music industry's reached such a saturation point. I'm pretty sure everyone listening to this will have heard the stories of the pitfalls of the music industry. It's a pipe dream, really.
And then from what I've seen, you've been using social media to advertise your music. How does that create a hype around your kind of music that you're releasing?
It's really just about setting yourself apart from what everyone else is doing. You've just got to learn how to reach the correct people. I try and reach people who listen to similar kinds of music to what I'm releasing and see if they'd connect with what I'm releasing.
Okay. And then what kind of platforms do you use to try and promote your music?
It's a mix, really. I use Twitter mainly. Whenever I release music, then it's an instant reaction. But I also use subreddits and Instagram through promotions.
Do you think using social media has definitely helped boost your music?
When I first started out, I was just making music for myself and my friends. Eventually, I wanted to try and reach more and more people, and social media has definitely boosted that.
Do you believe using social media to release your music is easier and better to get your music heard?
100%. When you think of artists back in the 80s, they always had to have that backing from a record label, or even in the 90s, on the rise of the MP3. But now that we've all got a camera in our pocket, we've all got a whole internet in our pocket, the sky's the limit, so it's really just about setting yourself apart.
Alright, thank you very much for that, Sam.
No problem.
If you like Sam's music, then definitely go check him out on his social media. His Instagram is Eclipse Ltd, and all of his music is released on Spotify, YouTube and iTunes.
Now, over 40 billion photos and videos have been shared on Instagram, and 95 million photos are shared per day. But what I want to know is there a hidden truth behind these posts?
Snapchat boss says his app puts less pressure on users to be pretty or perfect. So I interviewed a counsellor named Noah about how social media is affecting teens with their body image.
So I'm Noah Sisson-Kirbishley. I'm one of the counsellors at the University of Salford. I also work in the wellbeing team, and I have a special interest in body dysmorphia disorder.
Can you tell me what people come in to see you for, any specific problems for them?
So I have a wide range of things, really, from depression, anxiety, sexual problems to relationship problems, and bullying, which also incorporates kind of social media stuff.
Do you think in all of them categories you just named, social media does have a big impact on them?
I think social media has got a huge impact on them. There's obviously the visual side of social media, which I don't think it causes stuff. I think it has a massive impact on it in the sense that I think it exacerbates issues. I don't think social media causes anorexia. I don't think social media causes body dysmorphic issues. But I think it does, you know, when you're looking at images of people who are in sort of comment quotes perfect, you're going to perceive yourself to not be like that or want to aspire to be like that.
The people you help, do you think that differs between men and women, especially when it comes to like body confidence?
I mean, with the things like the rise in TV shows such as Love Island or Ex on the Beach or all these kind of reality kind of shows, men are very much more perceived as being this sort of muscular, tattooed, very sort of clean sort of looking figures, and actually before, sort of in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was always women that had sort of the media attention on you need to look this certain way, but now it's men, and the rise of men with eating disorders is up. I think it's up by something like sort of 30%.
So just last one, what would you recommend to students who are struggling with this and how to get in contact with people like you?
So first and foremost is, you know, the way you look and the way you feel about the way you look is very specific to you, and I would strongly advise that people remove themselves, took a step back from social media. You know, it sounds really cheesy, but you won't ever find happiness from outside of yourself. You need to be happy with yourself.
Well, thank you very much for your time to do this interview, because I know you're really busy. So thanks very much for doing that.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
It is mental to think how men are meant to be perceived on social media these days.
I know, like, I just can't get over that. I just can't get over that mental health for men has literally gone up by 30% this year.
And it is very true that TV shows like Love Island and that influence people a lot, being such popular TV shows on.
It's just so sad that they're just not, like, men should cry, they can cry, like, it's okay, and it's just sad for them, but
If you're listening, it's okay to cry.
yeah.
But anyway, this year in September, Apple released the iOS 12 update, which introduced the screen time feature to the iPhones, and this led to a big outburst of shock and disgust as people realised how much time they are actually spending on their phones.
And 3 in 4 parents said their kids refuse to play games without some form of technology, and 1 in 5 kids don't play outside at all on a typical day.
So we went and sent Tom to go talk to Maxine, a teacher for the younger generation, and we wanted to see her opinion and her viewpoint on how technology influences her teaching abilities and whether it helps or hinders her.
I'm joined today by Max Stolten, who is Deputy Head of Leavesden Green. You've been a teacher for a number of years now. You've been around to see the rise of social media and also new emerging technology. Is there a new technology that has come about in the past couple of years that's helped you in the classroom?
Yes, so most of our classrooms have interactive whiteboards and visualisers that we use to demonstrate the children's learning. But I guess one of the biggest impacts we've had are things like the apps that you can get on iPads. We also have Chromebooks. We use Chromebook banks for the children, so if they're typing something, we can give them live feedback, for example, so the class teacher can have all of the children's pages open and they can look at it and type on immediately, you know, check your first sentence or check the content of this. So those are quite good. We've also started to use a company that's based in Sri Lanka, and they have maths tutors who do one-to-one tuition with our children who perhaps have gaps in their maths learning. So they get an hour's learning where they're using headphones and a mic, and they've got one-to-one tuition specially tailored just for their learning.
Do you feel like technology hinders you, or do you think it helps you in the teaching industry?
I think it is a help. I do get concerned sometimes that teachers become over-reliant on technology in some cases. For example, in a maths lesson in a primary classroom, a teacher might very well put on the interactive whiteboard moving the equipment around that you might need for a maths concept, which actually you could physically do with the maths equipment and make it more realistic like that. I don't think that children have to be looking at a screen.
And do you see social media as a growing concern for young students?
Most definitely. Most schools in the national curriculum, we are required to teach about e-safety, and we've had people in like the Breck Foundation who fully encourage children to use social media at an appropriate age, but to use it and be educated around the pitfalls of what they could do and the dangers of social media. We do find that they're getting younger and younger on inappropriate sites, and that any issues that arise from these social media sites are being brought into school for teachers and staff to deal with, because it's to do with cyberbullying and things like that. So when children have been mean to each other over the internet outside of school, it becomes our problem. And I think we need to educate the children on what they put out on the internet is permanent, and it is out there, and it is something that is trackable, and it is something that is quite damaging for people. And I don't think children really understand the power of the internet and the power of these apps and these sites that they go on.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks to Maxine for finding time to allow us to interview her there. That was really nice of her.
Yeah, but very true that kids do need to learn that what you put on the internet will stay there, and
Yeah.
it can backlash you in the future, so be safe with
Massively.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
But on our phones, well, they're very much like our computers nowadays, and you've got everything on them. News articles can be read online rather than paying for the newspaper, and you've got it all on apps ready to read on the go whenever you want.
Even apps like Snapchat now have lots of news stories, and we spoke to Eleni, a journalist student studying at Salford University, about social media impact on journalism.
What have you been covering in the course so far?
So we do different types of platforms of journalism. We do radio, print and online.
So what have you been covering on the online side?
So it's mainly how to write basic news stories for sort of non-biased news outlets, just reporting on the facts of a story, and then how to publish them online, how to embed social media videos and tweets and things like that into your online stories.
Have you been looking into social media as a news source at all?
Yeah, definitely. Like most stories that I find are actually from online, like from Twitter. Like if you follow lots of sites on Twitter from, say, the council or the police around in your area, like they're always giving updates. There's always things that you can be looking at that give you ideas for stories. It's almost easier to find a story online nowadays than it is from word of mouth.
And so do you think the way that you're getting your news is different from your friends and peers, or do you think because it's all online anyway, you're interacting with it in the same way?
It depends on what social media platform you prefer. I think a lot of people still like the traditional BBC News, but other people, they're looking if you scroll on Snapchat, I know there's a page where it's literally just news, and it is more fun kind of news. I think it depends on what you like.
And how do you think that social media has impacted journalism?
Social media has impacted journalism in the way that journalists don't have to go out as much, because I think back in the day people had to go out and find stories and talk to more people. Nowadays you can sort of message someone on Facebook and say, can I interview you about this, or you can do Skype interviews and things like that, so it makes it so much easier for journalists to find stories now.
Do you have any advice on avoiding that biased fake news?
With most print articles that we write, we're encouraged to get two sides of every story. Even if it's an issue in which one side is quite clearly what most people will support, such as racism, you should always try and get two sides to every story, to avoid being called biased, especially with politics. It can be quite hard, because when you have your own opinion, you want to put that across, but you can't, because you have to be non-biased.
It'll be interesting to think how newspapers are going to develop, and if they will develop any more, or whether they'll just die down eventually. Who knows?
Yeah. But thank you very much to Eleni for giving up her time to allow us to interview her. But now it's time for the news with Lucy.
Live from the University of Salford, this is Utter Radio. News.
A chilly and bright start today with early sunshine. Through the day, cloud will build from the west, though most places will stay dry throughout the day with only a slim chance of a shower. The Labour Party have told Sky News that Jeremy Corbyn is ready to take over as Prime Minister of a minority government on Wednesday morning if MPs reject Theresa May's Brexit deal. Thousands of anti-EU protesters marched the streets of central London in a Brexit betrayal rally led by controversial activist Tommy Robinson, at the same time as a rival opposition demonstration was taking place. Piers Morgan continues to criticise Little Mix for encouraging body positivity after the release of their new video Strip.
Because you're going to watch this and you could be having the worst day ever and feeling really rubbish about yourself. And if this video picks you up and makes you feel better, then we've done our job.
Exactly. We have done the job, and that's what's like, we don't give a crap about these idiot people that have something to say when we are inspiring our fans, like.
Other influential women in the industry, such as Lauren Jaregui and Ariana Grande, have shown their support to Little Mix, with Ariana Grande defending the girls in a series of tweets. Caroline Flack opens up about depression, saying that it began after she won Strictly Come Dancing back in 2014, telling The Sun, "I couldn't get up and just couldn't pick myself up at all that year." After 6 months together, Jack Fincham and Danny Dyer have called time on their relationship, saying it wasn't long-term, but insist that they will remain friends. They have since been commenting on each other's photos as friends and will still host the National Television Awards social media together. I'm a Celebrity came to a close this weekend, and Harry Redknapp has been voted this year's King of the Jungle. However, taking to Instagram and Twitter, viewers were left feeling robbed and fuming on Saturday night when Fleur East was voted off, with fans claiming that she should have made the final.
But now it's time for the news that we really care about. And speaking of Twitter, it's time to look at what is Trump's top tweet of the week been saying.
My new game is Trump.
In this segment, I found one of my favourite tweets of Donald Trump, and I read it out to the audience that may not have heard of it before. I've picked out a goldie this week, so I hope you enjoy. Or maybe don't enjoy, I guess. So, the tweet today is, "Sorry, losers and haters, but my IQ is one of the highest, and you all know it! Exclamation mark. Please don't feel so stupid or insecure. It's not your fault." Very egotistical of him.
So obnoxious of him, though, isn't it?
But that's what you can do with all that money.
Oh, I bet he's got, I assume he's got millions of followers on Twitter, yeah?
56 to be specific.
Oh my god, so how many retweets? Who likes that? It's so embarrassing.
Well, that tweet got 60,000 retweets and 54,500 likes.
Oh my god.
Just a few thousand. But anyway, our next bit of ridiculous news, there's going to be another royal baby. People had mixed reactions to the announcement of Prince Louis earlier this year, and now Harry and Meghan have announced that they are pregnant. So I thought I'd give them a bit of inspiration.
And celebrities have either the best baby names or just the worst.
So joining us in the studio is Anna Guest.
Hello, Anna. Hi. Are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good.
Ready to play.
Whose baby this?
It's a very simple game premise. I have a list of baby names here, celebrity baby names that is, and all you have to do is name whose parents they are, whose baby this is.
Okay.
It's very simple. If
Try
you don't
my
know,
best.
just say you don't know, and I'll tell you the answer. Some of them are atrocious, some of them are easy, but we'll just see how you do.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to start off very easy with Blue Ivy.
Okay, that's Beyonce and
It
Jay-Z.
is. It's not a good name, but it's easy to know. We'll keep it easy for you at the start. How about Saint in Chicago?
Kim Kardashian, Kanye West.
That is very true. Do you know whose baby is this? Usher.
Usher, as in the name of his child? Or is that...
No, a baby.
A baby
Whose
named
baby is-
Usher.
whose baby-
No, I've never come across that.
Well, it's the one and only Usher named his child Usher.
He didn't.
He named his child Usher.
That's awful.
Again, another easy one. We're going to go with Blanket.
That's Michael Jackson's baby.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
How about Moroccan and Monroe?
Moroccan and Monroe.
And they're not tan colours, they're baby names.
I'm going to guess it's celebrity with a name beginning with M, but that, no.
Oh, that's quite clever. I get where you come
Yeah.
from there.
But
Well-
honestly, I don't know.
Well, the answer is Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey.
Oh, see, I just
Mariah,
wouldn't.
though, yeah.
Mariah, I was onto something.
That was a hard one, a bit of a niche person to know. Everest.
Everest.
Hmm.
These are hard. These are really hard. I'm going to pass on that one.
That's George Lucas's child, Everest.
Oh, okay.
Now,
It's
how
very
about
George Lucas.
Petal Blossom Rainbow? That is Petal Blossom Rainbow.
Who names the kid that?
I know that Jamie Oliver has really weird. Is it Jamie Oliver?
It is
Is
Jamie
it?
Oliver.
Okay, because
Well
I read
done.
something that he has
Come up with better baby
flowers
names
and
next time,
stuff like
Jamie.
that.
But I think you've passed, to be
I
honest.
think you've done plenty there.
That is Whose Baby This. Anna, you have smashed it out the park, to be honest.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on Whose Baby This.
Thanks so much for listening to Radio Mega today.
Be sure to get in touch via Facebook and Twitter.
And send us a tweet telling us what your favourite day-to-day app is and what part of social media you need in your life the most.
Next, coming up at 11:20 on Otter Radio is Tell Me a Joke.
We've been Jess and Jack, and I hope you enjoyed.
Have a nice day.
This is Utter Radio.